Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Why I Love Flagler County, your local podcast spotlighting local businesses and local residents on what they love about being a part of Flagler County. So today I'm super excited to have the person to have on a podcast talking about Flagler County is Miss Lisa Byer. Lisa, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for having me, Macy.
Of course. Well, Lisa is wear many hats. She does a lot of great things, especially to help out the community, continue to boost other businesses. So I'm super excited to have and talk to her about it. But first, Lisa, why don't you get us started? Kind of kick us off and kind of tell me a little bit about your journey coming here to Flagler, coming here to Palm Coast.
Well, the reason why we originally came here to Palm Coast was kind of not probably the average person's journey. We came here because in search of better health care for my husband,
Oh,
because he needed a heart transplant. And we were in the Atlanta area dealing with a device called an LVAD to help pump your heart for like over 5 years. We got here and we checked it at Mayo Clinic. And the very next day, he was in surgery because we came here just in time to save his life. We had no clue that that was the case. And they wanted to know, how on earth did you get here? You know?
that's
So it
crazy.
was it was 100% miraculous.
Wow.
And he had to have surgery to remove antibiotic resistant bacteria that he would, if we had come even 2 weeks later, he would have died, right? And so 100% miraculous, and that's how come we were here. And then you go through that process, you wait it out, and then he got a heart last year, April 30th.
Wow.
And after 6 months up there, now we're waiting for a kidney. So
Wow.
that's what kind of led us down here. And
Yeah.
and so you just kind of make the best of it.
Definitely. Well, I know that's a really big surgery to undergo, the heart one for sure. I have a friend, a very close friend, she had to get a heart transplant as well. And it's not an easy, these aren't
Oh,
easy things to go through. So huge
mhm.
prayers and thoughts for your family during all of those times. But that's insane that you guys came literally like right in time. It's not like, oh,
Absolutely.
I would have been safe for a few more days. It's like, no, it's like the exact time you needed to be here. You were here and we're glad to have you. So I'm
Thank
glad it
you.
worked out that way. Well, do you want to share a little bit about your journey, kind of doing what you're doing now with the community, and helping people out and just being a really great cheerleader for so many businesses here in Flagler?
Well, for me, I joined New York Life in that whole process of trying to find something that I want to work for a company that epitomizes kind of my morals, you
Mhm.
know, having a good name, good reputation, all of that. And I find that they have a good reputation. They have that good name, that good brand. And I joined them, and one of the things they always say would be to be in your community, volunteer, and join the chamber. And I couldn't find the chamber anywhere. I just couldn't. So I was like, where the heck is the chamber? So then I saw something about the chamber having an event called Small Business Expo. So I started tracking them down, calling like crazy, and then I met Greg Blosse. He called me and he says, "Okay, so you're Lisa Byer. What do you want?" It was kind of like a rough intro. I says, "Okay, so you're having a small business expo. How can I join?" He's okay. So he told me it was free for the community, and me being who I am, I went around to every small business and told them, "Did you know this is free? Did you know this is free?" So then he calls me again, "Could you please stop telling people it's free? We're full." So so after I went to the event and they thought it was a very successful event. And I'm in at the event saying, gosh, this could be so much better. This could be so much better. But instead of being a critic, um, I went to him when he said, "Wasn't it wonderful?" I says, "Actually, no." I said, "But I'm not a critic. I want to help you." So he was like, "Yeah, right." So a couple of months later, he came up to me. He says, "Everybody keeps saying this person, Lisa Byer. Do you want to join the committee to help?" I said, "Absolutely." So I got involved and I said, "Can we do this? Could we do this? Could we do this? Could we do this?" He was like, "Oh, that's too much stuff." I said, well, I promise you it'll make it better. So last year we made so many changes and the feedback was just absolutely amazing. So he said, okay, that's it. I need you to be the chair of this event. And of course, I got up, I'm inviting all these businesses and I said, okay, we went to here. Can we go here now? He's like, you're nuts. Can we have a live band? Can we? Yes, we could do it. Yes, we could do it. Yes, we could do it. And of course, I didn't just stay local because I'm a musician. I sing, I play the bass guitar, I do all these things. And I volunteer also in the city of Daytona a little bit. And so I know
Okay.
you're like, this girl is
Well,
crazy, right?
there were more hats I did not realize she had, y'all. This is crazy.
Right.
Keep going, keep
So,
going.
so in the process of doing all of that and doing some volunteer, like sound engineering stuff, we found a really, really good band that act like the best band we had seen all year that were from Flagler County. We had seen bands from Orlando, Jacksonville, New Smyrna, I mean, Tampa, and the best band, not just the best band, but the best attitude, best to work with,
Mm.
nice vocals, best harmonies, best talent. And we said, where are you guys from? And they said, well, actually, we're just from this little town called Palm Coast. So we're like, hold up. Odds are,
Right.
So we said, have you ever been featured at anything in Palm Coast? They said, no, well, we just go to all the events in Palm Coast and support it, but we're never featured. Hmm. So we featured them this last year and we just made it just bigger, you know. And Greg made me the chair of the event. And then from there, as you know, I've been calling those businesses who you haven't met and said, hey, how would you like to be highlighted by Macy on Why I Love Flagler?
Yeah.
Because there's so much you can do for these businesses because they're the goal of the chamber is to educate and advocate for these businesses, right? And a lot of small businesses, they're just winging it. They don't know
Mm.
what to
Right.
do. They just get up every day and they just go. And we're 95% of the economy here
Mm.
in Palm Coast is small businesses, 95%,
Wow.
right? And they just get up and they just go.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't value small businesses. Well, I think we should.
Right.
And so something like what Career Source sponsoring and providing that grant, hey, let's go, let's do it, let's make it big and let's keep it engaged. Let's keep encouraging them, keep offering them opportunities. And that makes me excited to do stuff like that. And that's a little bit of why I'm crazy.
Aw, I wouldn't say crazy. I'd say crazy productive if
Yeah.
you wanted to go there. But yeah, I mean, anyone who wasn't at Springfest, I feel like there was like 5 people who didn't go to Springfest. Like it felt like everyone was there. But for all of us who did, it was an amazing event, held at Town Center, not too far from the public softball tear. And it was just an amazing event, having so many people just showcasing what they're doing here in Flagler. I had no idea 95% is like an insane amount. That's awesome to hear. But
Yeah.
like you're saying, like we were both at the Hispanic Alliance with the Chamber event where James Walsh was speaking. And he was sharing like how he as a business owner has to give himself some structure and some rules. Otherwise, some days you may wake up at 11, some days you might wake up at 2, and it's like, why not have a consistent schedule of blocking at the time, being productive? I know some people have a storefront, they have to be there at a time. Some
Yep.
people like me, I don't have a storefront. I'm here at home, so I have to keep myself held accountable to that. But like you're saying, so many people just kind of wander around. So that's awesome you guys have that support for the local community to kind of give them that cheerleader in the corner that helps put it all together.
Yep. And we do like workshops as well. And we're always thinking
Yeah.
of different ways and different speakers and all these things.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do in the community. And so at first people were like, who is this girl? Because the community here is, I would say, before a couple of us minorities came around, it was 100% white.
Yeah.
And the greeting that I got when I went into some of these networking groups was people standing up, looking around and saying, I know everybody here. I don't need to introduce myself.
Uh,
And I honestly felt like if I was wearing an invisible cloak.
Yeah.
And that happened a couple of times. And so I finally got up and I said, okay, so my name is Lisa Byer and I work for New York Life. And I try to teach people the living benefits of life insurance. But when I actually stand up and I go and I meet with a client one-on-one, it's not about me, it's about their needs. But if what they happen to need is what you offer, how am I going to know that unless I actually meet you? I'm a really good referrer. And I sat down. And after that, people then wanted to know who I was. It took a lot to push through
Yeah.
as a minority in this area.
Oh,
And
wow. Yeah.
so when you give, then people kind of go, okay, well, maybe we might want to know her. And that's
Yeah.
how I got to do it here in this community, especially as someone who they didn't know. And then I looked different to them too. So you had to be a more of a giver to kind of
Yeah.
break through that closeness, you know?
Definitely. I mean, I feel it. Definitely, my entire family feels the exact same way
Yeah.
because we're that's what really helped me start the podcast as well. Is you might remember I don't know if you were there when I presented at BNI, but that was kind of my story too. Is that I would walk in rooms and people just didn't know who I was, so they kind of were like, oh well, we already have our friends, which I understand, but I look young. I don't necessarily always look like them. So they're like, what is this person?
Hmm.
But just, allowing to start the podcast and people seeing the effects of the podcast and starting to see that ripple effect in the community. Just even, I've had the podcast maybe 5, 6 months and it's
Yeah.
been really great to see. But like you said, it took a minute, right? And
Yes.
really just trying to show up and show the value that I want to be able to give them
Hmm.
and now I'm able to refer a lot of people, and I'm really happy about it. It gives me so much joy to be able to connect other people in the community. And I'm only able to do that because people kind of allowed me to get to know them for a second as well. So,
Exactly.
yeah, so it's really interesting to hear your story and how it really reflects mine as well. So thanks so much for sharing that. I was just sharing that as well with the chair of the Hispanic Alliance, Johnny. We were
Hmm.
talking about that as well. So yeah, just kind of letting people in Palm Coast know that there's other people out there.
There's other people out there, other cultures, and we do have something to offer.
Yeah,
And it doesn't you don't have to wait till we become like famous
right.
or do something big. Give
Or
us a
even
good.
like you think you know everything. Like for example, I'm half Chinese. Lisa Byer calls me, lets me know that she makes amazing egg rolls from scratch. I'm like, you have to teach me how to do that, you know? We can always learn and do and continue to expand our knowledge from other people, even if you don't know. Like, I had no idea she
Exactly.
made egg rolls. Now I
Yes.
do, and now one day I'm
Yes.
gonna go and I'm gonna go to her house with her 4 dogs and learn. So
Yes. Yes.
I'm
And she
excited.
loves to, and Macy loves to bake. And I make Amish. I have my own recipe. Okay, I'm not a good baker because at least I don't think so. But I am a good mathematician. So I came up
Mm.
with my own formula to make Amish cinnamon bread from scratch
Okay.
without having that pack that sits on the bed on the counter that ferments. So I have my own formula that tastes the same.
Well, there you go. We all have our strengths over here, our hidden talents.
There
There's
you go.
so much, yeah. I mean, I'm, half Indian, half Chinese. My favorite thing to bake are macarons. They're just so random, you never know what people like to do. Well, I guess, well, Lisa, before we wrap it up, I think this is a perfect question for you. What
Mhm.
would you recommend for new people in the Flagler area? Places to go, events to go to, groups you can join, anywhere to kind of get active with the community, kind of put themselves out there, like kind of like we were talking about.
Hmm. Well, Flagler County is a strange, it's a strange animal,
Mhm.
right? But for me, I think you always have to remember in Flagler County, you have to find your group, right?
Mm,
So for me, my group became stepping between chamber and BNI. And that's where I figured out who my people were. Because BNI, first of all, we have the largest BNI network. There is. And within that group, you can find people inside that group that you can connect with, right? And then I went to Chamber because Chamber has a number of different activities, day or evening, that you can connect to. And then finding a church will be the next thing, right? And if you can find a church here, good. But remember, Flagler County touches Daytona and it touches St. Augustine. So if you can't find it there, just kind of step out a little bit and always, always, always go to the parks and the beaches here because
Mm.
they're beautiful. And there's tons of stuff. There's tons of garden stuff. There's tons of, if you have a dog, the dogs can go to the beaches here, you know? I mean, in other states, you can't take your dog to the beach.
Oh, that's
It's
crazy.
true. It's true.
Yeah, I believe you. I
You
just
know?
I've never lived next to a beach before, so I didn't realize
Right.
it gets serious over there.
Right.
Um,
So it's like, so there's a lot of things here that I still have not explored.
mhm.
And every day I'm learning something new. And I think you just always be willing to learn and ask questions and be open-minded.
Yeah. Well, I think those are all amazing suggestions. Would
Yeah.
definitely recommend checking out all of those. I know the beaches are just so nice. My dad and I like to go at least every day if possible, or
Mm.
at least 2, 3 times a week. So it's one of the best things about being so close. And like you said, finding your own community is really important.
Yeah.
Finding those who you can connect with, who you guys can form a friendship with, relationship, and keep your circle close. Doesn't mean you're not expanding it, but it means, you have your people that you can rely on and you build those relationships up really well. So,
Yeah.
Lisa, thank you so much for the time today.
You're
I
all
really
welcome.
appreciate it. This was such a pleasure. I learned so much, not only about like what happens in Flagler, but about you. You have so much going on. So I'm super, super privileged to have you on the podcast. I appreciate it. And to everyone listening, I really appreciate you as well. And I will see you next time.